This is Rise. Let's lock in with the goal of changing one life at a time. Yours. Together, let us rise up, inspire, strengthen, and elevate our minds. It's time to rise on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hello, my name is Dr. Saran Heron, and welcome to Rise. Today we are going to talk about beating debt and getting on track this year with your finances. John Nicholas is a best-selling speaker and coach who helps groups and individuals harness the power of their unique history, dreams, and DNA to achieve epic results. He is a Brown's University and Fuller Seminary and Arrow Leadership Program graduate and is a former pro football player, pastor, and co-founder partner of award-winning sports, media, and real estate companies. He has appeared on ABC News, CBS News, various radio stations, and numerous podcasts, as well as partner of several award-winning sports, media, and real estate companies. The name of his book is Debt Free, ASAP, and Hit Your Bullseye. He is here today to share how to change your habits and principles to help you better manage your money, take an inventory of your life, and change today. He has had his personal experiences and own turnaround in life. He is here to share his story and inspire you. No matter your setbacks, you can rise. John Nicholas, welcome to Rise here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hello, Nassau. Good to be with you.
Now, John, you have had your own setbacks in life. Let's talk about that.
Well, I mean, hey, we all have setbacks, and the good news is that we can leap forward after having them, right? You get set you leap forward. In my case, I've had a number of considerable setbacks, both in business, with things like the Great Recession or the terrorist attacks of 9/11 did great damage to a company that we had just done a $20 million joint venture with a major TV and digital, partnership, and that got blown up as well. But my biggest setback and the thing that launched everything I talk about, it was when I was 16 and crashed my mama's car into a house during a Halloween night, car chase with police. Got in big trouble, jail, kicked off my high school football team, and almost ruined my life. So that was a major crisis event, and it caused me to dig for keys and direction and answers.
Absolutely.
Is that a big enough setback for you?
Yes, it is. Sorry about that. But what do you think was important about that setback? What are some of the lessons that you learned that you as your fuel today and your motivation to know that things could change, right? Even when they seem like that's it for you. You had no hope because you became a pro player. Well,
here's the thing. I've talked with people all across the country, every age, background, situation. And there's all kinds of setbacks. There's health, there's marriage and family, there's business, there's your job. There's a ton of different ways to have challenges, and most of us have them. And the good news for me was that caused that crisis, and that usually leads to action when you're looking for possibilities or opportunities, and that's a big thing. So that's what everybody can look forward to, no matter what kind of setback, whether it's self-inflicted wounds like my foolish car chase with police, or whether it's just something happens to us and we have to rebound.
Right. Now, you were a pro football player. What inspired you to play sports? What inspired you to get into sports? And you didn't just get into sports, you became a pro football player. Well, the same thing
that inspires somebody who wants to be an actor or actress or a dancer or a film producer or whatever. It just catches your eye, usually when you're young, in your formative years. And, these dreams can be impossible. And for me, I was no elite athlete. And it was a long shot, but it was deeply ingrained in my heart, and I had a real, vivid determination to get after it. Once I kind of had that, reckoning, and started working real hard in that direction.
Now, for those college students or just anyone on the air that may be listening and saying, oh my God, I want to be a pro football player. This is what I've wanted to do all my life as a kid. As you mentioned, that was your inspiration. What is the best advice that you could offer those who aspire to be in sports like you did?
Well, there's nothing new under the sun. I mean, the basics are, whether I'm sharing or Michael Jordan's sharing them, I mean, or LeBron James, who we had the good fortune of putting on his first national magazine cover back in the day. That was a highlight along the way. It all comes down to honing your craft, your talent, and working your rear end off. I mean, there's just no substitute for intense, dedicated, work habits, repetition. And I mean, you have to be in the ballpark talent wise too. And if you want to be, a pro basketball player, but you're 4'7", you might want to readjust that and maybe become part of something in pro basketball. There's training, there's coaching, there's management, there's all kinds of ways to be involved in certain dream goal areas. Whether we can make it there ourselves as performers or not, you got to sort that out as you go. And that's something we talk about in the book, Hit Your Bullseye, because you're looking at the various areas or distinct key areas of your background and your background, your dreams and your DNA, like what talents you have, what traits you have, what tendencies and interests, those things that are natural. We talk about all that.
Just to hound into them, right? Now, you were also a pastor. How did you get involved in ministry, if you don't mind me asking?
I had no interest in religion, Christianity, or anything like that. I had just wanted to run the other way, but kept running into basically what you'd have to call divine appointments. My first pro football roommate was a guy named Franklin King. He just had a different spirit about him, and he would look across at me, at the end of a long day of 2-a-day practices and all kinds of training, and just wiped out, and he'd have a big old Bible, and he'd look across and go, "Room dog," call me room dog, because we were roommates. Right. He goes, "You got to know the Lord, man," and he wasn't being judgmental. He wasn't preaching at me. He was seeing my heart condition. That made a big impression. And I kept meeting amazing people that came across the path and they were bringing message to me in a way that you couldn't orchestrate. And soon enough, God got a hold of me, and I started wanting to serve and help people, especially people out on the street. Right. We worked with drug babies. We adopted a drug baby abandoned by his mom, and just a variety of things you do, when you have some resources to bring, your group into play, So as a pastor, that's what we tried to do, get people in the thick of it.
Wonderful. Now let's get talking about our debt free. Let's talk about it. I would assume most people would like to not have any debt. So share with us, what are some critical steps to help to ensure that we get ourselves away from that idea?
Yeah. Okay. Well, the reason that book you mentioned, which is Debt Free ASAP, you can look it up on Amazon and buy it there. It's super cheap. Or you can go to a free video that kind of gives you the highlights of the book and gives you free resources to help you. And I'll share how in just a sec. That is at freedebtvideo.com. You can go there and get some really important free stuff. Back to the steps, 3 key steps. Number 1, you've got to assess your situation properly. That means get a clear view of what you're dealing with. Most people never get to that because we get into distress. Right. When we're financially behind, we're usually struggling in other areas as well. Absolutely. We're tucking envelopes in drawers. We just can't face this or that. We're overwhelmed. First step, get a clear picture of everything. I have a free form for anyone who wants it. You can get it at freedebtvideo.com. You can get the free forms to help you look at your debt load. Number one. Number two, you got to know what options you have, what solutions you have. Right. There's a lot of people out there talking about, this is the one and only solution. No, there are like 7 proven solutions that run the range from you kind of doing it yourself by just, having a disciplined approach, all the way to different forms of bankruptcy and all kinds of things in between. Everything depends on your situation and what solution fits your situation. Right. And that's I have a free form for that too. It lays out the 7 solutions that everyone should know about debt recovery. These are very distinct approaches, and you can figure out which one works for you. And even if you're in a mild, just a little bit of struggle, and you don't really think you're in big trouble, it never hurts to go from being uninformed about the whole debt scene and the recovery scene to becoming almost an expert, all in a matter of a weekend. You can read this book or watch this video and become so knowledgeable that you can actually start helping other people as well as yourself. So, and then the third thing is you got to make a plan with whatever support you need to succeed, because support for getting a long-term plan established and carried out, that's not easy. So you have to have the right kind of support, and I talk about that in both the book or the free video.
You are listening to Rise on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Dr. Saran Heron, and today we're talking to John Nicholas, as a bestseller, speaker, coach who helps groups and individuals harness the power of their unique history, dreams, and DNA to achieve epic results. He's a Browns University and Fuller Seminary and Arrow Leadership Program graduate and is a former pro football player, pastor, co-founder, partner of award-winning sports media and real estate companies. He's appeared on ABC News, CBS News, various radio stations, and podcasts, as well as partners of several award-winning sports media and real estate companies. The name of his book is Debt Free ASAP and Hit Your Bullseye. He is here today to share how to change your habits and principles to help you better manage your money, take an inventory of your life, and change today. He has had personal experience, own turnaround in life. He will share his story and encourage and inspire you. No matter your setbacks, you can rise. Now, what resources are the best tools to get started? I know you mentioned your freedebtvideo.com. Would you say that that's where the best tools that someone could start with?
Absolutely. It takes 38 minutes to watch it, and it gives you a button to push to get free forms, to get organized, to review your options, and to go from there, really, and to put a plan together. If you want more. The cool thing about the book is every chapter starts with like a conversation with somebody in a particular situation. And I guarantee we cover so many interesting and common situations that you'll just be right on the edge of your seat, just going, yeah, what's the answer for that? Or, and it's a lot of fun. It's a good read. I have some fun in the process, even though I take you through some very painful experiences with me. Going from a high-flying, co-founder of a company to crashing and burning, being unemployed, and, just missing out on a CEO position that took months to go through the process and reach their final decision. So, I'm in this with you. And the name of this show is awesome, about rise. It is about rising up and overcoming whatever is in your way. And, that's a huge part of everything I share, whether it's on the, debt recovery side or on the hit your bullseye side, because it's really about catching a vision. Right. And Walt Disney once said that vision is the ability to see the future with imagination. And that's really it. we have to look at every situation with imagination, because there are oftentimes, hidden treasures or hidden opportunities in everything we face. And so, if you take away anything, take away when crisis comes, there's danger and there's also opportunity. In fact, something we just put out on Instagram recently that's got a lot of reaction to it is the Chinese symbols for the word crisis. Two different symbols. One is danger, the other is opportunity. And every crisis situation we face, we're dealing with both. My appeal to you is look for the opportunity. Be aware of the danger. We can't be foolish. We have to be mindful of the different dangers that we're facing, but we got to look with imagination. Look for the opportunities that are hidden or behind what we're dealing with. Amen?
Amen. Great advice. Now, you believe in the nuclear powered principle. Explain that for me. What is that about?
What I discovered when I was young and recovering from crashing into the house and the jail and all that, was as I started digging up some elements in my life, I started recognizing that by them combining, or what I later called converging, it's like I call it personal convergence, or if you're working as a group, corporate convergence. The point is, key areas of your background converge or merge to create great power and momentum. And so I share how that happened for me. And then we look at historical figures, great high impact people throughout history, and see how the same kind of dynamics work there. That dynamic, which I call convergence, personal convergence, is similar to nuclear fusion. Most of us have heard of fission, which is like bombs and nuclear reactors, but fusion, the scientists say, is even more powerful, like the most powerful force in the universe. It's like three rivers combining into one, or nuclear materials colliding and combining and throwing off great heat and energy. When we start looking at key elements of our background and our destination, and we start seeing how elements can converge and really power us forward in a way that's breathtaking. In my case, I went from being a dumb jock to being an Ivy League scholar and ultimately a pro football player, and ultimately signing with a Super Bowl champion team in my third year. I came around as a free agent. Those are impossible dreams for somebody who was in my situation. Right. I needed that superpower. And it's there for all of us.
Yes.
It really is.
I believe that. Now, you know that it's important to set realistic goals. What are some realistic goals that you would share with our listening audience? So, like you mentioned, you want to assess the situation, you want to get tools to start the process. But what are some realistic goals that you believe one should set in terms of becoming debt-free?
Well, the first goals you set should be tiny baby steps. Like, oh, I'm going to watch that video, or, oh, I'm going to buy the book, and this weekend I'm going to start reading it. Those are little goals that you can accomplish. Right. You can be successful. We need to set small goals that give us victory. Right. Victory. I did it. I can mark that off on my list. I can say, yes, I've begun. Small, winnable goals. But just like when President Kennedy said, we are going to go to the moon within the next 10 years, that's called a moonshot goal. Okay. We all need moonshot goals to wake us up in the morning with a gleam in our eye and maybe a smile on our face. Big goals gather our attention and attract us. Small goals get us moving in the right direction. We need both. Right. So I really counsel, set the small goals. I'm going to do this weekend. It's so easy, you can't fail, right? Set up tiny little goals like, okay, I'm going to read this next chapter tonight. I'm not going to bed until I read this chapter. Oh, I'm going to push this button and get these forms so I can now start listing some of my, debt situations, my accounts, whatever. If it's about planning your career or your mission in life, it's the same type of thing. You got little baby steps, but then you're looking for the big vision that's going to draw you like a magnet and make you motivated, so you don't even have to muscle it up. It just is there.
Right.
It's drawing you forward.
Like it comes natural, right? Once you start putting your first best foot forward, I would say.
Yes, a good balance of small and big picture.
Together, yes, to make a big difference. Now, you're also the partner with real estate companies. What advice could you offer to those who may be unsure if they want to do real estate, or they're having different thoughts based on what someone told them or based on their experience? Speak to those individuals that may be listening today. What is your advice as it pertains to real estate?
Well, Doc, are you talking about like buying a property to live in, or working in real estate as a profession, or what's your
based on your experience working with real estate companies?
Well, yeah, I mean, as a longtime broker and person building real estate companies, the real estate business is changing literally this week in a major way because of some a huge lawsuit that was set against organizations that control real estate. And they've basically broken it open to more competition, less money, less money to be made. And they're making the commissions should be a lot smaller than they've been in the past. And there's some reasons that justify, oh yeah, that will help, but really it's going to hurt in the end, because you're going to get a lot of people driven out of the business. They won't be able to afford staying as professionals. And then there's going to be a lot of do-it-yourself stuff, helped probably with websites that are going to try to fill the gap and save you some money, but you won't really have, expert handheld guidance, through the process. So it's kind of the Wild West right now in terms of how real estate is going to be to work in.
Right.
But when it comes to getting involved in real estate, I highly recommend you look for, I think in a prior conversation there were some questions that we kind of had back and forth. It's like, where do I start? And it might be you go in with a family member to acquire a low-cost house, and then you work on fixing it up. And then you can either stay in it or rent it out, or raise your family there. I mean, just there's different approaches. It's almost like recovering from debt. The question about how should I approach real estate is very situational. It depends on a lot of things as to where you're at, what you're looking to do, and what kind of resources you have to work with. And so it's an important thing to get involved with, in my opinion, because there's so many benefits to owning property to offset taxes that you have. Anyway, there's just a lot of benefits to owning property as opposed to just renting. And so that would be a major goal. And you can contact me. I have direct access. You can send me questions via the freedebtvideo.com website, or you can go to Hit Your Bullseye if you have life questions, or you're trying to chart your mission or your direction professionally or anything like that. That one would be hello@hityourbullseye.com.
You are listening to Rise on the Voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC. My name is Dr. Saran Heron, and today we're talking to John Nicholas. He's a bestseller, speaker, coach who helps groups and individuals harness the power of their unique history, dreams, and DNA to achieve epic results. He's a Brown University and Fuller Seminary and Our Leadership Program graduate, and is a former pro football player, pastor, and co-founder and partner of award-winning sports media and real estate companies. He's appeared on ABC News, CBS News, different radio programs, and numerous podcasts, as well as partners of several award-winning sports media and real estate companies. The name of his book is Debt Free ASAP and Hit Your Bullseye. He is here to share how to change your habits and principles to help you better manage your money, take an inventory of your life, change today. He has had personal experiences and own turnaround in life. He will share his story and encourage you to and inspire you. No matter your setbacks, you could rise. Now, John, you've published 2 books. Why did you want to I know you had your own experience, but why did you really want to put that out there for others to learn about Debt Free ASAP as well as Hit Your Bullseye? Why do you feel that this is important for individuals to get a hold of that?
Well, when you have discovered something that is essential for people's improvement, self-improvement, realizing their dreams, getting out of trouble, and you've found something it's not just because you've been through it or that you can, have some tips. It's because you think you've discovered something that's like new or different about the journey. And I actually worked inside the debt relief industry for a while when I had, gotten out of debt myself and wanted to help people in that area. And I learned how much terrible advice there is and how they're just same old, cookie cutter programs and this and that. And so I found some simple but powerful keys that I thought were very important to get out to people, to cut through all that clutter and to get around the hype and there's a lot of scamming going on out there and like that. So that was motivation in that area of the debt-free ASAP. As for the Hit Your Bullseye, it's because you've been mentioning it, Doctor, this notion of taking inventory of your life. No family that I know of, no college or high school or anywhere that I'm aware of takes you through an inventory of your life or has a blueprint for you to look at as you look at some of the greatest people in history and current people today. And you see how things have worked in their lives, these dynamics, and how you can look and start finding key elements that you can harness for your great achievements and for your great destiny, really. So I have found those things that nobody ever taught me. I wish they had, I really do. And so I'm bringing it out there so you can do it with yourself and see the results.
We really appreciate all the excellent advice that you have given us, John. I thank you today for joining us on our program today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Doctor.
I'm Dr. Saran Heron. I hope you enjoyed all the information you received. May you be able to apply this knowledge to your personal life. Get debt-free using small steps until you accomplish your goal. Discipline and true assessment of your finances is critical to getting started. Again, remember, look at everything as well as we know it's easy to be discouraged. Remember, you can do it, but you must begin to visualize your future, as we mentioned before, and you will accomplish that which you have set out to do. Stay blessed, everyone. Until next week, same time, same place, where you can listen to high-quality information. Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Rise, available wherever you listen to podcasts, and always right here on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.